Well, good afternoon to you. Like the previous video, I'm waiting for my wife to finish shopping here in the local supermarket. This video may be interrupted because I'm expecting it to come out any minute now, and I'll continue possibly from a different location. But while I'm on here, I had a thought, a bit of a strange thought, I suppose, and I don't know how many of you have considered this. We talk a lot about what's going on in the United States with, say, the reinstatement of President Trump's presidency, the unprecedented second term, which wasn't certainly anticipated from the beginning. But we talk a lot also about the negative effects of the Antichrist's peace. You know, we talk about the way that the Antichrist is going to come and establish peace on earth, and that it will be a counterfeit peace. And we know that it's going to end up, of course, in tremendous catastrophe for the nations when they find out that the Antichrist, whoever he is not actually bringing real peace to the nations, but is bringing his own form of power, which will come, of course, as worship and eventual destruction for those who follow him. But I was thinking about a different angle. We talk about President Trump, as it were, being a sort of a, let's say, a catalyst for the Antichrist, but a forerunner of the Antichrist in terms of what he's doing. But there's another angle to this. And I want to share with you just a little list of things that I've made that show us that what President Trump is doing isn't necessarily mirroring the Antichrist, but it's actually mirroring Christ and mirroring the millennial reign that we're all looking forward to once the Antichrist has been dispensed with. And this little list has made me think about what life will be like when Jesus returns, and the things that Donald Trump has been doing that actually mirror what Jesus will do when he returns. Well, as you can see, I have changed locations. Just as I clicked off there, my wife returned. And I was just saying, I made some notes. And of course, I was thinking about Trump's golden age and the things that he wants to do. And I've just got this short list here that I thought it would be quite interesting to compare what he wants to do and what will happen when Jesus returns. And let's having a look here. Peace. Trump, of course, wants peace. Many will say, no, that's not true at all. He's only in it for himself. But let's look at outcomes. Overtures to peace. Getting leaders together. Wanting to bring about harmony between nations. Harmony inside his own country, I think, to some extent. A lot of people, of course, on this particular subject, they're going to disagree with me and come back at me in the comments and tell me Trump is the Antichrist and he's only in it for himself, and that he's part of the Illuminati and all the rest of it. But what is the intention of the heart is what's important. He wants to see successful government. He wants to see corruption removed from government. And remember what Jesus said, when the government will be upon his shoulders, it'll be a harmonious time when the people will be under God's rule. And Trump has this idea, although he isn't a proper Christian, he has the idea of clean government, pure government, where it's working for the people. With regard to genders, Trump's pronouncement on the fact that there's only two genders. God created them male and female. There'll be nothing perverted in the millennial kingdom. And I think this is what Trump is getting to here. He wants to see the natural take place. The use of Earth's natural resources, oil, coal, producing as it has done for the last couple of 100 years. And sensible use of the earth's resources, realizing what can be used sensibly to sustain the nation and to sustain employment at the same time. No more terrorism. Trump wants to get rid of all these terrorist gangs and these criminal gangs that have come from all over the world, really, specifically too from South America. And so let's think again about what Jesus is going to bring about when he returns. There won't be any crime on the earth. Everything will be under his rule. It says he will rule the nations with a rod of iron, but it will also be with a power of love, with the intention of bringing disparate peoples together. Merit-based opportunities. I'm sure that during the millennial kingdom, people will be able to make maximum use of the gifts that God has given them. They'll certainly have longer life, as it says in Isaiah, that to be living 100 years will seem like nothing. And of course, we're seeing medical science trying to mirror that, aren't we, by bringing about long life. And there'll be a lot of investment in that, I'm sure. Fair work practices. It's another thing that I think Trump is wanting to bring about. Now, as I'm reading this to you, I'm not advocating Trump. I'm not saying that he's on God's side even. I'm just saying that consciously or unconsciously, these things are happening. But they will be things that will be taking place during the reign of Christ. There will be a blanket peace. There will be no corruption. There will be a perfect governance. There'll be no secrets, no government secrets. We're starting to see the Kennedy files being opened up now, aren't we? Well, this, of course, mirrors the whole idea of bringing things into the light. Removing things from darkness and bringing them into light. And that, of course, gets rid of corruption. Knowing the truth. And I think he's wanting to do that in his so-called golden age. But he doesn't realize, of course, that the real golden age to come can only come in Christ. Trump wants to see harmony amongst friends and amongst family. And in being able to do that, of course, it requires a commitment, doesn't it? It requires a commitment across the board to be able to reach out to one another. I've heard presidents before, prime ministers, whatever, saying that they govern for all the people. Well, of course, that isn't always true. But it's interesting, though. And let's anchor it in Scripture, which is the most important thing to do. And let's look at what Jesus is going to do in the millennial kingdom. His real, genuine golden age, not the one that any man can try and bring about. Isaiah chapter 11 says here, he will judge by what he sees with his eyes, this is Jesus, or decide what he hears with his ears. But with righteousness he will judge the needy. With justice he will give decisions for the poor of the earth. Fairness, you see, it's all about fairness, equity, but Christ's equity. He will strike the earth with the rod of his mouth. With the breath of his lips he will slay the wicked. Righteousness will be his belt, and faithfulness the sash around his waist. The wolf will live with the lamb. The leopard will lie down with the goat. The calf and the lion and the yearlings together, and a little child will lead them. The cow will feed with the bear. Their young will lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like the ox. The infant will play near the hole of the cobra, and the young child put his hand into the viper's nest. They will neither harm nor destroy on all my holy mountain, for the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Lord as the waters cover the sea. And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Knowing that the millennial age will, of course, also bring about harmony between all the nations of the Middle East. Trump, of course, would like to do that with his Abraham Accords, but we know they're imperfect. But yet there's a mirror there towards the millennial kingdom, as it says here at the end of Isaiah 11. I'm just reading here from at the end here, from verse 16. Verse 16? This looks like 16, yeah. There will be a highway for the remnant of his people that is left from Assyria, as there was for Israel when they came up from Egypt. It goes on into 12. In that day you will say, I will praise you, O Lord, although you were angry with me. Your anger has turned away. You have comforted me. Surely God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. The Lord is my strength and my song. And also just mentioning here in Isaiah chapter 19, it says here, again, millennial kingdom. In that day there will be a highway from Egypt to Assyria. The Assyrians will go into Egypt, and the Egyptians to Assyria. The Egyptians and the Assyrians will worship together. And in that day Israel will be the third along with Egypt and Assyria, a blessing on the earth. The Lord Almighty will bless them, saying, Blessed be Egypt, my people, Assyria, my handiwork, and Israel, my inheritance. And of course, the devil, would try to preempt that with the antichrist's false peace. But we know that no matter who's in charge of whatever country, there are going to be people that are in charge for their own benefit, for their own prosperity. And of course, we can accuse Trump or any other leader of doing the same thing. But I just thought it was interesting that we now have, you in America now have a leader who has certain aspirations to bring about a utopian type of society. But of course, we know it isn't going to happen. But I just thought we'd take that angle and look at it from that perspective, because we know that Antichrist is probably going to modify and fulfill the things that Trump is that he is doing and wants to achieve in America. And of course, Antichrist will achieve it globally, but it'll only be for a time. And Americans, as I see in the comments, many of you are quite polarized, and many of you are saying, well, no, Donald Trump is just, as I said earlier on, just out for his own benefit. But there are many of you that are saying the opposite, that you're actually rejoicing and praising God that he's in power. And so that there'll always be polarization until Jesus returns. But I just thought I'd bring that out, just mention the fact that we will see mirrors of the golden age taking place. And of course we mustn't be fooled. The important thing is that we're looking to the final hope, to the blessed hope, the rapture of the saints, and then the return of the saints to earth, and then the millennial kingdom, which will be the true golden age of peace. So, just leave those thoughts with you, and have a blessed day.